U.S. Vice President JD Vance has expressed his wish that his Hindu wife, Usha Vance, may one day become a Catholic Christian. JD Vance himself converted to Catholicism in 2019. Before becoming a Catholic, he identified as an atheist. In fact, he married Usha while he was still an atheist. A statement JD Vance made last year sparked considerable controversy. He said he hoped that one day his wife, Usha, would follow him on his spiritual journey. His remarks also generated widespread debate on social media in India. Usha is currently expecting the couple's fourth child. In an interview with CBS News' Robert Costa on June 14, she said she has never felt the need to change her religion. JD Vance was present during the interview. Usha said, "I grew up in a Hindu family that was very stable and happy. I never felt the need to look for something different, the way my husband did." She also jokingly told JD Vance, "Therapy didn't work for you. The church did." Last week, JD Vance humorously remarked, "I often joke that there are two very important people in my life, one Indian and one Pakistani. The Indian is my wife, and the Pakistani is Field Marshal Munir." Strictly speaking, however, it is not factually accurate to describe Usha as Indian, since she is an American citizen who was born and raised in the United States. She is the daughter of Indian immigrants and grew up in Southern California. Earlier as well, some of JD Vance's comments about his wife had been viewed as making people uncomfortable. Usha Vance is a lawyer and previously served as a law clerk to U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts. She has consistently expressed pride in her Hindu upbringing and cultural heritage. Many observers interpreted Usha's comments to CBS not as a disagreement between husband and wife, but as a reflection of her confidence and clarity about her own beliefs. American political commentator Richard Hanania wrote on X, "I really like this woman. JD Vance may change every aspect of his identity to gain power, but he can't change Usha." Professor Audrey Truschke, a U.S.-based scholar specializing in South Asian history, described Usha's remarks as particularly significant. She wrote on X that the case is especially interesting for scholars of religion because Usha connects her Hindu identity more with having loving, stable parents than with religious doctrines or rituals. At the same time, she has no objection to raising her children in the Catholic tradition, even though that religious structure does not fully include her. Truschke described this as a fascinating example of religious identity. Laura Loomer, a far-right American political commentator, also praised Usha's statement. She wrote, "This is a strong statement from Usha Vance. People close to Tucker Carlson have repeatedly made insulting remarks about her, suggesting she should convert to Catholicism to satisfy his supporters. That makes no sense. Tucker Carlson's supporters will continue targeting Usha through 2028 because she is a brown Hindu woman, despite all of her accomplishments. I hope she never converts because I know it would only frustrate her critics even more. She doesn't need to do anything to please anyone. Usha appears very confident in who she is, and it's good to see." Last week, JD Vance's new book, Communion: Finding My Way Back to Faith, was released. In it, he describes his journey from atheism to becoming a conservative Catholic. Vance writes that after he and Usha began discussing having children, he considered himself Christian curious, and found Catholicism intellectually compelling. However, he worried that his growing interest in Christianity might place pressure on his wife, who had been raised in the Hindu tradition. According to Vance, Usha believed that, given the difficult and emotionally challenging experiences of his early life, faith had ultimately been a positive influence